Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Aquarium of the Pacific. Are you excited? I am so excited to be doing our virtual field trip today. My name is Alicia, and we're going to be going on an adventure this morning. We're going to be visiting some of our animals here at the aquarium. But I wanted to say a big welcome to the start of our summer school ocean STEM venture. So welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being explorers with me today. Now, we're going to be exploring through the course of your summer school why the oceans are important to you and how we can best take care of them. So that's going to be something that I would like you to start thinking about. You will also have an opportunity to meet a very special animal and think a little bit about how this animal might survive. Let me show you what animal is going to be your focus for summer school. We're going to introduce you to an animal called Spruce. Have you heard about Spruce? What kind of animal do you think Spruce is? Well, let's go ahead and we'll put up Spruce here. This is Spruce. Hi, Spruce. How's your day going? So Spruce is also excited. So we're going to be thinking about what it would take for Spruce the sea turtle to survive in her ocean habitat. So that's something else that we are going to be thinking about, explorers, throughout your summer school. Now, throughout the entire course of your summer school, that's going to be the theme. You're going to be thinking about how animals in the ocean survive and how they might survive in their habitat where they live and survive from other animals. So those are some of the things to think about as we do our virtual field trips. Now, I'm at the Aquarium of the Pacific, and I am one of a collection of special partners that will be joining you on Tuesdays and Thursdays for your virtual field trips. Now, on Mondays and Wednesdays, you're going to be working in your classrooms with your classmates and your teacher to go into a deeper dive to explore how animals survive in the ocean. So it's going to be a really fun summer school experience, and I hope you are ready, explorers. Now, we have a way for you to participate this morning. So you're going to be watching with your classmates and your teachers. And if you have any observations, so anything that you might notice, any ideas, anything to answer our questions I'm going to be asking as we explore the aquarium and our animals today, you can participate with your teacher, and your teacher can pass along your questions to me. So share your ideas with your teacher, and if you have any questions, I am open to answer them since this is happening live right now at the aquarium. And I have a team of people here at the aquarium who can pass along your questions this morning. Are you ready to get started? Yeah, me too. So our team here, I have James, who's at our computer. He's the one who's controlling all of our technology here. We're going to have James start us with an animal that is very squishy. Now, I want us, as we explore different types of animals that live in the ocean, to start thinking like scientists. So we're going to be looking for those little details, those things that we might observe using colors, shapes, sizes. We might watch how an animal moves. These are all clues that might help us learn about the animal. So this animal, wait a minute, what animal is this? Were you thinking of this squishy ocean animal? Is this an animal that you want to give a big hug to? Probably not a big hug. But this animal here, yeah, you guessed it. This is a sea jelly. Now, explorers, I want you to think about, and maybe you can tell your teachers in your classrooms, what makes this a jelly? How did you know that this is a jelly and not another picture of a sea turtle? Is there anything special that you notice? Well, maybe we can watch one of our live web cameras to show us how these animals move around as you think about how you knew that this was a jelly. What special parts do you notice? Ooh, so here are our Pacific sea nettles. And a sea nettle is a type of sea jelly. Now you might You might notice that I'm calling it a sea jelly and not a jellyfish. You can still call it a jellyfish, that's okay. We call it a sea jelly to remind us that because it has no bones inside, it is not, in fact, a type of fish. It is an animal with no bones. We call that big group invertebrates. Can you say that with me? Let's say it together. Ready? Invertebrates. Yes. So this group of very squishy animals have no bones inside. Did you happen to notice anything else that's special? Why would you maybe avoid giving this animal a big hug? Oh, I bet you noticed it too. Now, again, if you have any questions, you can tell your teachers and they can pass that along to us. Oh, so I am noticing these long string-like things. Did you notice them too? Yeah. Any guesses of what those are called? Tentacles. Oh, did you see this one? It's right above my head. Now, if we were to move like a jelly, you want to do that with me? You would put your hands out just like this. And I want you to practice moving like a jelly. So this part on their body that we're moving, you can kind of see. Now again, scientists watch very closely the details as they observe their animals. Do you see how they're opening and closing and opening and closing? I just drifted off the screen. So this is how our jellies move. This part here is called their bell. So maybe we'll pick that picture back up so we can take a closer look. Here we go. So this part here, what shape do you see? Yeah, me too. It's from this angle, we're looking at a half circle. And then we see these long tentacles. But wait, there are two different types of tentacles here. Did you see that too? Yeah. So on the outside of its body, these tentacles here are known for being, kind of stingy. You don't want to give them a hug. So they have special stinging cells that help protect this animal. Now, what do you think a jelly eats? Let's see. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? Chicken nuggets? Pizza? No. Any guesses? Well, let's think about this. Maybe you can message your teacher if you have any ideas about what you think a jelly eats. So it will drift in the ocean. We've already seen how they move. And it uses these stinging tentacles to capture its food, or we call its prey. And then it moves that food all the way up these big fluffy tentacles on the inside called oral arms. So some jellies have really big tentacles, and some jellies have very short tentacles. We have a different kind of jelly here at the aquarium called moon jellies, and we even invite people who visit us to pet the moon jelly. And that's because the stingers on this jelly are not very strong. Even if we were to touch it, we actually wouldn't feel it through our fingers. And that's because this jelly eats really, really tiny food. It also, what do you notice about its color? Its color's a little different. Whoa, here's our web camera. Oh my goodness, I feel like food caught in the middle of this big sea jelly. There's those fluffy oral arms. You can see those, they almost look like little eyelashes. So they have much smaller feeding tentacles. So this animal here actually eats very, very small, drifting plants and animals called plankton. Can you say that with me? Plankton! Plankton is very small. It drifts around just like the jellies. Jellies are, in fact, also plankton. I know, crazy. Plankton just means a drifting animal. Thank you, James. So James has just put up a really, really close up. If we were scientists and we were looking under a microscope, that's how small they are, we would see the plankton. This plankton grows like algae. Have you ever heard of algae before? Sometimes you see it growing on maybe the side of a pool, places that need to be clean. There are tiny little plankton drifting in the ocean, and it's this food for those jellies. So this is the algae plankton, kind of like the plant plankton. There are also animal plankton drifting around as well. So plankton is the start of a really big source of food for many, many animals, including our jellies here. All right, so we just learned about a big, or they're not that big. Some of them can be really big. We learned about some very squishy animals that have no bones. I wanted to introduce you to an animal that I absolutely love. They're quite famous. They have a fin right on top. And when we think about the ocean, I would say a lot of explorers often think about this animal. Are you ready for this? I think we're going to go to our web camera so we can show you this morning them swimming around. We might have been looking at them a little bit earlier. Were you thinking of a shark? Yeah, me too. So sharks are really important in our ocean and they're super cool. Look at them. So here is a web camera in our nice warm tropical habitat. So not all places in the ocean are the same. They have different temperature water. So if you were to dip your toes in here, the water would be nice and warm. If you were to dip your toes into our own backyard here in Southern California, the water would be pretty cold. We have kelp forests. And because the environment is a little bit different, it creates these different homes. The science term for that, oh my goodness, look at that shark, is called a habitat. Oh my goodness, here's another warm water animal. Do we recognize this animal? Oh, a very brief visit. That was our sea turtle. So we have sea turtles and sharks and other smaller fish that all live in this habitat, this home. So sharks, how did I know it was a shark? Is there anything special? So we looked for that bell and the tentacles to help us identify a jelly, explorers. So what do we notice here? I'm going to step off the screen. If you were to write down some of those things, now I know that you're keeping a journal as you explore through your different topics. What might you write down to help you describe a shark? What shape do you notice that shark? Did you notice that they're a torpedo shape? Yeah, me too. They have that nice torpedo shape to their body. Here's a great example. Thank you, James. Anybody recognize this shark here? Oh, this is a great white shark. Yeah, pretty incredible. So this shark gets to be around, they get to be over 10 feet long. Some of them around 15 or 18 feet, which is pretty big. You know, if you ever wanted to measure it out, that's kind of something fun to do at home. You can measure out about 15 or 18 feet and see how long the great white shark can grow. There is even one that was recorded at 22 feet. That is a pretty big shark. So how did I know it was a shark? Well, again, it has this nice football shape to its body. We call that a fusiform shape. Now, as we explore, we might see other animals that are not sharks that are fusiform because this shape, as we talked about making some of these observations, helps this animal move through the ocean. So an animal's shape and even the parts that it has on its body can help it move through its home, its habitat. So this is our blacktip reef shark. This is the animal that we were taking a peek at. So I notice, again, this football shape. Anything else that you notice? I notice that it has a whole lot of fins. Did you notice that too? Yeah, so let me grab my model here so we can take a look. This is my stuffed animal model here of the great white. So I want you to take a peek, explorers, and tell me, as we're making some observations here, what fins are used to help push the shark through the water? So as we're watching here and taking a close look, because they have so many of these fins on their bodies, which ones are actually pushing them through the water? Let's take a peek here. Oh, there's the blacktip reef shark showing off. Okay, so is the shark using its side fin, back fin, top fin? Yeah, you got it. It's using its back fin, right? We don't often see sharks going, here, fishy, fishy, I'm coming for you. They use their back fins to push themselves through the water. Now, sharks are a type of fish. I know, a lot of people don't think that they're fish. But if we think about it, they're not mammals like us. They're not reptiles like the sea turtle. They're not frogs or amphibians, right? Part of that group. They're not birds. They're definitely not plants. So they belong to this group of fish, but they are pretty special. These fish, instead of having bones inside of their body, they have something called cartilage. That's a big word. Have you heard of cartilage? I want you to wiggle your nose. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I want you to make a little ear sandwich. Ready? Squish, squish, squish. So what's supporting your ear and your nose? Sorry, you can try doing those at the same time. That's kind of fun. That is cartilage. We even have it in our joints to help us move. These sharks have it inside of their body. It makes them very light and very flexible. And that is one special thing about these fish. So they're in a separate group of fish, all that have this cartilage inside their body that makes up their skeleton. Where's your skeleton? Can you feel your skeleton? Yeah, if you feel your backbone here, those little bumps. We were talking earlier about how the jellies have no bones in their body, right? They don't have a skeleton. Sharks do have that skeleton. It's just made of something a bit different. If you compare it to these little tropical fish, those little fish here have bones. So that's one way that we can tell this is a shark. The shark has cartilage. Oh, look, the sea turtle's taking a little nap. It's in its cave. A little back of the little sea turtle. There's a little tail. Now here's our zebra shark. Our zebra shark, because it's a fish, and because all of these other sharks are fish, how do they breathe underwater? How does a fish breathe underwater? Yeah, you're probably thinking about it. They have something special. Now, when an animal has something special that helps it live in its home, right, its habitat, we call this an adaptation. So an example of that would be gills. Yeah. So this is a little easier. So sharks have these little gill slits. They usually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have these 5 gill slits so that the water goes through their mouth and over the gills, and that helps them breathe. So sharks are pretty incredible. So we're talking about those fins, right? We said the back ones help them push through the water. What are those other fins? Did you kind of watch and figure that out? Yeah, these ones on the side, these pectoral fins, help them balance through the water. That's how they might turn to their left or to their right. You'll kind of see them gliding through here, using those fins to turn. And the rest of those fins on their body are to help them balance in the water because they're kind of football shaped, right? They might spin a little bit. Having these nice big tall fins on fish can sometimes help them balance as they swim because some of these fish can be pretty fast. So you can kind of see our gray reef shark here is pretty fast. Oh, wow, the sharks really want me to talk about them. Now, when we think about sharks, we often think about their teeth, right? Yeah, so sharks are pretty amazing because there's over 400. We're only just looking at 3 different types of sharks, and there's over 400. They live in many different ocean homes or habitats. Some of them live in these coral reefs. Some of them live in the deep ocean. Some of them live off of our coast here. Some of them live in really shallow areas. And they eat different things because their home is a bit different. And so I wanted to show you a couple examples of shark mouths because when we are thinking like scientists and we want to learn about what an animal might eat, a good place to look is inside an animal's mouth. So I have a special document cam that I'm going to go over to, and I'm going to show you what the zebra shark's mouth looks like. That's that polka dotted one that's been swimming around, excited for me to talk about it. Maybe we'll put up the picture of the zebra shark because, of course, when I say zebra shark, it swims the other direction. So when they're first born, they have stripes. You can almost see it on this young one that look like a zebra, and they hatch from a little egg. And then as they get older, those polka dots, or those stripes, turn into polka dots. Pretty cool. So they change color during their life, and they can get a little bit more spotted to help them blend in with their home. They like to hang out at the bottom. Now, another clue is where an animal's mouth might be, right? So we have the face of our shark here. Here's the little eye, very cute. But the mouth isn't here. Where's the mouth? Any guesses? Yes, the mouth is all the way underneath. Why might the shark have a mouth facing towards the bottom? I want you to think about that, and maybe you can share your observations with your teacher. And as we think about that, I'm going to show you close-up of what that shark mouth looks like. Now, this can be a pretty large shark. And maybe we'll turn our studio lights on for just a moment so that we can get a little bit more light here. Here we go. Excellent. So this is the shark mouth. Is this what you were expecting? So let's say you found this shark mouth, this jaw as we call it, at the beach. And you were curious of what this animal might eat. Well, we have a few hints, right? Because we're saying mouth for our zebra shark is actually underneath its body. What do you notice about the teeth? These are the little teeth that it has. Does it have bunny teeth, big square teeth in front? No, not quite. Do they have flat teeth like our back teeth? No. They have, look, very, very small flat teeth. Or short teeth, I should say, not flat teeth, short teeth. So these little teeth here are good for grabbing smaller things. Now, like I was saying, this is actually a larger shark. They can get to be about 8 feet to 12 feet long. That's pretty big, but their mouth, you could probably hold this jaw in your hand. If you wanted to hold your hand out like this, it would fit in your hand. So that's pretty small. So just because an animal is really big doesn't mean it eats big things. Okay, so those are those teeth. So this shark, were you thinking about it? This shark eats things like little shrimp, little crabs, even little sea snails. Can you imagine having sea snails for lunch? Probably not, but that's very appetizing for this animal here. If they can get little fish, they're excited about it, but typically it's an animal that has kind of a thinner shell that it can crunch up using those small teeth to grab it, and then just kind of nom, 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 they can eat it. So that's an example of a shark mouth. Now I want you to compare that to the sand tiger shark that we were looking at earlier, okay? The sand tiger shark is the same length as the zebra shark, but whoa, look how much bigger that shark jaw is. And that has to do with the type of food that it eats. So if I zoom in, we make some comparisons here. What do you notice about these teeth? Well, if you were to eat something that was a little bit slippier and slimier, like what? What would you imagine that's a little bit slippy and slimy that this shark could eat? What do you think of when you think of a shark and its prey, its food? Is it eating, it's not eating lettuce or kelp, right? This animal is eating things like squid and fish. So let's maybe go to, if we have any images of our sand tiger shark. Whoa, here's our sand tiger shark. So this shark definitely wants to be able to grab any little slippery, slimy animals that it has. Now, there's no chewing teeth. So whatever this shark eats, it has to swallow the whole thing. So believe it or not, even though it has these little fishing hook-like teeth inside of its mouth, and its teeth are about this big, it has to eat something that's not too big because it's not chewing. Can you imagine just biting your food and then swallowing the whole thing? You'd have to bite something that's not too big. Because some of its food can be so slippery, it has teeth that stick all the way out. Now, you may have heard that sharks are constantly growing and losing their teeth, and that's true. See this tooth right here? It's going to fall out, and the ones inside are going to push out so that it has constantly this little conveyor belt of teeth that are ready to help this shark grab its food. So sharks are really impressive. Our shark here at the aquarium is called Big Guy. And he's very friendly. Our scuba divers love swimming with Big Guy. So you don't let the smile fool you. He's a very nice shark. All right. Now, we have been talking about some very popular fish out there. I wanted to introduce you, since we have just a few more minutes, to maybe a fish that you haven't heard of before. So we've been talking about some of these, I would say, well-known animals, but what about some of those smaller animals? Well, this, I have to admit, is one of my favorites, but I have a lot of favorites. This one's small. It lives in very cold habitats, cold water, and it's called, are you ready for this? Called a lumpsucker. Yep, this is it. Hello, lumpsucker. Oh my goodness. Does this look like a shark? No. What do you notice that's interesting about this animal? Does it kind of look like a lump? Yes. I think they're adorable. Now, this sassy little fish is pretty small. It's about this. You can hold this little fish in your hands. We have them here at the aquarium. And they love to be around the little rocky bottom of, again, a cold, kind of like kelp forest habitat. They love to be where there's these little ocean algae. And you'll notice that, look at this, has these kind of hard plates on its body. Why would an animal have something hard and pokey on its body? If you think you have an idea, you can share that with your teacher. Why would this fish have this hard, pokey body? Is it to look cool? I think it's succeeding at that. But how does it use this in its habitat? Also, do you notice that it's not swimming? Yeah, maybe we'll show you some video of our little lumpsuckers in just a moment here. But did you see that it had that little, it looks like a suction cup, and that's because its fins kind of push together in front, and just like I was saying, it sticks on kind of like a little suction cup. I know, pretty cool. So those little suction cups help it. So we'll go ahead and bring up a video, but I want you to think, I wonder how that little animal survives. Again, it's tiny because there are a lot of bigger animals out there that might want to snack on it, right? Oh, here we go. Here's a little tour. So here's the lumpsucker. Its mouth is in front, so a little different than the zebra shark that we were looking at. Whoa. Do you notice how its color is kind of the same as the seaweed or the kelp around it? So some lumpsuckers are this green color. Some of them are even this orange color. This orange, this is a type of sponge. It's called a puffball sponge. Isn't that fun? This puffball sponge is orange. And so, yeah, one of the ways that they can survive in their habitat is by blending in. Do you know what that science word is? Yeah, camouflage. Very good. So camouflage is the ability to blend in with your habitat. And an animal can do that using its shape or color. And we can see that this little lumpsucker, you can see it has a little frowny face, is doing that in its home. So this mouth here is ready. It's faced up. So it's in front of its body to grab anything that might float by. So it hangs out at the bottom. It sticks using those special fins on the bottom. That's very different than maybe some of the other fish that you've seen before. And it waits. It waits until a little plankton, remember we talked about plankton earlier, something that's drifting in the water swims by, and then they unstick and whoop, they swim up and they grab it. I don't know if we have any other images of our lumpsuckers, but they're fairly cute. So as we're looking at that, this is just the start. I hope that we have introduced some things to think about during our class today. Oh, here we go. Here's our little lumpsucker, just doing its little lumpsucker things. I love how the color of their eyes. Do you see that? Yeah, then there's those eyes, if you're watching, can actually, kind of like a chameleon, they can move around. Having eyes at the very top of your head can be helpful too. to look for predators. So they want to make sure there's not another animal. Did you think a little bit about why they might be spiky? Yeah, so sometimes being spiky can help protect an animal. And these little plates may not make it very easy for a predator to take a bite. So they have a couple ways for them to survive in their habitat. So maybe we'll end on a web camera as we conclude today. I hope you've had fun. I hope that you are excited to learn about the ocean. You're excited to continue to learn in your classrooms. I know you're going to be doing a reflection after this, some things that you have learned, some things that you were wondering about the ocean, some of the animals that we're talking about. Again, we have so much more to explore as we do our summer STEM Venture program today. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us, and I hope you enjoy the rest of our summer programming. Take care.